Hello everyone, today we have here Chrissy Patton to talk about and discuss her Eleanor Clarke Slagle lecture named Finding Our Strengths, Recognizing Professional Bias, and Interrogating Systems. To start off, in your lecture you talked about your opinions on a deficit-based approach and the flaws present in the field's current models of practice. As occupational therapists, why is it important to reflect and question the models that we use to practice, teach, and research?
Well, I've been reflecting on the deficit based approach in occupational therapy, which focuses on identifying and fixing specific weaknesses or impairments in a client's underlying skills in order to help them perform daily tasks. This model positions us as experts tasked with providing services to remediate weaknesses. But here's the thing, no one builds their life on remediated weaknesses. Imagine a world where everyone around you constantly focused on your weaknesses day in and day out. That is why I am advocating for a shift to a strengths based model, one that challenges how we research, educate, and practice. A strengths based model approach emphasizes identifying and building on a person's existing abilities, interests, and positive attributes to build interventions and goals rather than solely concentrating on their limitations or deficit to help them succeed. It focuses on empowerment, collaboration, and celebrating what people can do rather than just fixing the things that they can't. It's time for us to rethink whether our current models are truly helping people in thriving and flourishing, and I truly believe that we can do better. I'm going to ask you to be curious, not judgmental, to be curious about your own practices, to be curious about your research, and to be curious about how you are educating the next generation of occupational therapy practitioners. For the students among us, I challenge you to reflect on the type of practitioner, educator, or scholar you want to become. To truly embrace this shift, we have to be curious, and I also believe that we have to be willing to be wrong.
For the next question, in your lecture you discussed the topic of the power of being wrong. Can you elaborate on this and discuss the time where you felt you were wrong during your practice as an occupational therapist?
Well, when I first started practicing as an occupational therapist with my degree from Elizabethtown College, my focus was on addressing the deficits of autistic individuals. As a researcher, I studied these deficits and evaluated their effectiveness in interventions designed to reduce them. My goal was to help autistic individuals become more like their neurotypical peers, believing by changing or fixing behaviors, we could remove their barriers for inclusion. At the time, I thought I was helping. But looking back, I see how this deficit focused approach failed to truly empower autistic individuals. By concentrating on outward behaviors, such as reduced self stimulatory actions, for example, we marginalized their inherent strengths, aspirations, and unique ways of experiencing the world. We underestimated their abilities and framed their lives in terms of what they lacked rather than what they offered. I came to realize that many autistic individuals view autism as an essential part of who they are and their identity, not something to be fixed. Their way of being shapes how they experience the world. Yet, professionals, myself included, often impose neurotypical standards for success, maintaining eye contact, following specific communication norms, or blending in. The rules overlooked who they truly were and missed their stories entirely. By listening to autistic individuals, scholars, and activists, I learned how wrong I'd been. The lived experiences of neurodivergent individuals showed me that flaws in the deficit based lens I had relied on for so long were wrong. I now frame all my work and my identity as a human being with a strengths-based model. This approach affirms and celebrates unique abilities, perspectives, and contributions of autistic individuals. It's about authentic partnerships and respecting their voices as central to the conversation.
Thank you so much for sharing your personal story and the power of embracing being wrong. Another topic that I wanted to focus on from your lecture was the shift from high and low functioning individuals to high and low functioning environments. Could you go into depth to explain what that means and the importance behind it?
Well, I work with autistic adults, children, and youth, and I always start by explaining why I use identity first language like autistic adult or autistic student instead of first person language. The majority of autistic individuals prefer identity first language, and truth be told, I want to honor that. I also shifted away from labeling individuals as high or low functioning. Instead, I focus on how much support someone needs and the barriers they face daily. Rather than labeling someone as high or low functioning, I believe that we should start by labeling their environments instead. Are they high functioning environments or are they low functioning environments? So, a high functioning environment, for example, might be a school where the staff, including OTs and SLPs, are well trained in argumentative and alternative communication methods, seamlessly integrating this into a student's day. On the other hand, a school lacking financial or personnel resources, this could be considered a low functioning environment for this individual. Every space where ableism, discrimination, or stigma exists is a low functioning environment, and our role is not to just support the individuals, but also to use our skills to address systemic biases, environmental barriers, and ableism. We must advocate for creating a high functioning environment that truly supports inclusion and justice.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on transitioning from high and low functioning individuals to high and low functioning environments, and showing us a new perspective that could help OTs as a profession to make a commitment to doing better and making new improvements. Now let's focus on the shift from a deficit-based approach to a strengths-based approach. You discuss how it's going to take hard work that will be counterintuitive to what OTs have learned to get to this moment in order to do so. So how can OTs work towards shifting to a strength-based approach in research, education, and in practice?
So, to truly support others, we need to talk to them and understand their perspectives. It's their story, and when we let it be their story, we see a completely different picture than what the deficit based research shows. Interests become central to learning and can be integrated into every aspect of growth and development. So, how can we do better? Well, it starts with questioning interventions that aim to reduce or eliminate someone's interests. We can research how these interests impact outcome, change the way we write about them, and educate parents on reframing these interests in a positive way, with the occupational therapist leading the way in all of this. This means acknowledging when we've been wrong and committing to do better. Low functioning environments are ones where disabled individuals are forced to prove their capabilities. Instead of making people meet arbitrary standards of readiness, why not create opportunities in high functioning environments where success is already presumed? These spaces should be built around interests, access, and abilities, not demands for conformity. A strengths-based model in occupational therapy asks us to lean into what's already working. As a field, we need to confront our own ableism to commit to meaningful change. This includes examining our language, educating others on ableism and disability justice, assessing whether we've created high or low functioning environments, documenting strengths intentionally, rejecting the normalcy narrative, and collaborating with disabled researchers, supporting self advocacy, and there's so much more. It's about owning our role and taking concrete steps towards equality and empowerment.
The commitment to act is so important when shaping the future of the profession if you want to work towards achieving a strength-based approach. To close up this interview, my last question to you is how would you encourage practitioners to approach their work with humility, curiosity, and a commitment to meaningful collaboration with the disability community to create a more inclusive and empowering future for occupational therapy?
Well, shifting from a deficit based to a strength based lens isn't something we can achieve with occasional effort. It's going to take consistent practice. And let's start with curiosity. Let's ask ourselves, what is a day like for a non speaking autistic student in a self contained classroom where staff, including the OTs, might not presume competence? What is it like to fully understand what's being said but have no way to express yourself? Yes, in these situations, a sensory toy may provide some benefit, but does it truly change a low functioning environment? This is where it gets tough because we might get defensive and say, but it's a good thing we're doing. And maybe it is. But curiosity is what pushes us to see that it's not enough. As an American social psychologist, Claude Steele reminds us, it takes humanity to reconsider our past commitments, to question our present decisions, and curiosity to imagine our future plans. So let's imagine those plans together with disability communities and activists as true partners. Let's build occupational therapy on strengths and not remediated weaknesses.
Thank you so much, Christy, for that answer. Wow, I just wanted to express my deep gratitude for this opportunity to reflect on and discuss what you believe to be important shifts to the practice of occupational therapy. I agree that moving from a deficit-based lens to a strengths-based approach challenges us to rethink how we engage, listen, and partner with the individuals and communities that we serve. Furthermore, I believe that together we have the chance to reimagine occupational therapy as a field rooted in strengths, inclusion, and justice. Again, I just wanted to thank you personally for cultivating this perspective that leads to creating environments meant to empower and uplift the disability community, and for your shared commitment to doing better. I'm more than excited to see what this approach and could mean for the future of OT and the communities that we serve. Thank you so much.